Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk Title with Emerald Coast Title Services. I'm host and president of ECTS, Dion Moniz.
And I'm Ashley Bowen. I'm the Director of Operations for Emerald Coast Title Services, a licensed title agent and a licensed instructor for Florida Realtors.
So this is episode number 60.
Woohoo! We should have fireworks.
Right? Let's put some firework graphics in there. So yeah, hard to believe it's been 5 years since we started our little podcast. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate all 12 of our listeners and viewers for staying with us for so long.
Very, very much.
We love you. All right, what are we talking about today, Ashley?
So today we're bringing you a gift from Florida Realtors, and that comes
gifts.
in the form of a new compensation agreement. We previously had 2 compensation agreements, and that was very confusing. And we had brokers who were out of their mind about it because the buyer's broker does not know what the listing agreement says. And the listing agreement could either say that compensation is being paid through the listing agent to the buyer's agent or being paid directly from the seller to the buyer's agent. Mm-hmm. And the buyer's agent had no idea, so they just picked one, sent it in, and then the other broker would say, oh, that's the wrong form, and the buyer's agent would say, what do you mean it's the wrong form? And it caused
it was a mess.
All kinds of ruckus.
Yeah.
And so now they have combined the two.
They have seen the light.
Yes, and so now we have one compensation agreement that is either from the seller or the seller's broker to the buyer's broker. And you just fill it out as the previous ones were. It's all just one, and you choose if it's either going to be the seller or the seller's broker. Probably still very good practice to call the listing agent and ask which one of these boxes you should check.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how do you know which box to check?
Yeah, you have to communicate with the other party, but that is what this is all about.
Yes, right.
We all have one goal in mind, and that is to get to the closing table.
Yes.
So we have to
communicate.
Is good. We have to communicate throughout it. And so now you have one document, and you say either the seller or the seller's broker and the buyer's broker for this property are going to be compensating via the seller or the seller's broker with this either flat fee or percentage of the purchase price. You will still use, if you're doing a compensation agreement, you will still, and you haven't come up with it prior to going under contract, you would still use the GG with agreement with respect to the buyer's broker compensation if you want your contract to become contingent upon you all agreeing on one of these. If you have already agreed on one of these, then there's no reason to include GG because there's no reason to make the contract contingent upon you coming up with an agreement if you already have an agreement in place.
Yes. Good distinction. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yes.
And as I have pointed out before, Section 6 has that arbitration clause.
And if you don't want your parties to go to arbitration, don't have them initial that.
Yes, or you don't initial it, because both parties have to initial for that paragraph to kick in and become effective. So,
and remind us what arbitration is.
It just means that you have to go to binding arbitration instead of going through court. Most lawyers don't like arbitration because even if the other side doesn't fight, you still got to jump through all the arbitration hoops. So it takes a little longer
and it costs a lot of money.
And costs more money than if you just get a default judgment through court.
Hopefully we don't have any disputes in any of our contracts, so we don't even have to worry about that.
Right.
But don't get that thing initialed if y'all don't want to go to arbitration.
Yeah. Check with your broker, see what your broker's position is on the arbitration clause, but just be mindful of it. But
so,
yes, this is a great form.
Yeah, the new form is the CASB 1, so it's CASSB 1, and it came to us in January of this year, of 2026.
Yep, so good stuff. I'm glad that the committee the FARBAR committee is paying attention to what the people are experiencing and making changes accordingly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Florida Realtors, I think, is over 50,000 members strong, probably well over that number. I think there's 40,000 in just Miami.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're listening, and they've made our lives a little easier. So this gift today was brought to you by Florida Realtors.
All right. Well, if you have any questions about that, let us know, or please let us know if there are any other topics you'd like us to cover in our podcast. But that's a quickie for today. But we thought you should be aware of this new form, this new gift from Florida Realtors. So if you don't already, please follow our social media pages. And if you want information about us, go to ects.com. And in the meantime, we'll say see you later. Bye-bye.